Hi class, welcome to week 6 of EDU602. I'm Dr. Michelle Warren, Program Chair of the Masters in Teaching and Learning with Technology, and I want to take you through kind of a refresher of all the wonderful things you've learned in this course and the creation of your online course through the work you've done here. And then we'll go into the week 6, okay? So first of all, we played with that backward design worksheet. We really dug into that backward design theory. And in the worksheet, you identified skills and concepts and big ideas that you wanted your learners to get when they went through your class. What you found is those big ideas and skills and concepts kind of went back in and made you re-examine those module learning outcomes and say, maybe I want to add an outcome, maybe I want to adjust an outcome, and then those module learning outcomes then re-informed your course learning outcomes. Now this is actually an iterative process of course design in that you are continually going through the cycle of re-examining your learning outcomes and re-examining your activities and materials. And it's an ongoing iterative process of re-examining your work. And that's what course design is all about. As you add in an element in your course, you realize, maybe I need to readjust this and go back and do that. So this backward design model, though, really helps you get clear on what it is you want your learners to accomplish. And then you create that final assessment that represents what it is, everything that you want your learners to accomplish. By creating that final assessment first, then what you realize is that all the assignments that you design in your course start to map to that final assessment, so that actually it makes you more efficient in designing all those activities as they build to that final assessment. So you're not going off in la la land and saying, this would be really fun to add to my course. Instead, you're saying, does this really help my students build the skills that I've identified in that final summative assessment, okay? And the cool thing is that your final assessment is an authentic assessment, meaning it's grounded in the real world. Your students are going to be able to go out and apply that right away in their lives if they wanted to. So it's a final assessment and it's an authentic assessment, okay? Now, when you created your authentic assessment or your final assessment, now you can go back and create those assignments in your class that build toward that final assessment. So you created in here, in EDU602, you created a formative assessment. There will be many formative assessments in your class. You created one that helped build the skills toward your students being able to complete that final assessment. So, maybe it was like addressing a couple of your learning outcomes in your module, or more than a couple in your module, but it represents that formative assessment. It helps your students kind of compile a piece of that final authentic assessment, okay? And so as you moved on, you identified some technology to support your students in acquiring those skills and representing and demonstrating those skills, okay? You also developed a rubric to support your learners to provide transparency in what it is they're going to be assessed on in your authentic final assessment. So students, you're going to create this product in this final assessment, and here's how I'm going to grade you. I'm going to be looking for these criteria, and these are examples of distinguished, proficient, basic, and I want you to address all these criteria in the rubric as I grade you. So again, the rubric provides transparency to the student, and it provides consistency. If some other instructor went off and taught your course, the rubric would hold them accountable for making sure that the students acquired all those skills that you want them to acquire, okay? Good job. And so this week, you need to really polish up that formative assessment, that summative assessment, that rubric, get those all cleaned up and in your online classroom. because the next class is going to be a big one, okay? Now, there's one more thing this week that you have to do besides cleaning up and getting your online course all polished up, and that is the backward video reflection. Okay, this is not the reflection that you think it is. This is not the video reflection that you're used to, where it's just a 5-minute just kind of brainstorming session. This is a thoughtful multimedia presentation to your instructor about what you've learned in this course. And guess what? You are going to be addressing all the course learning outcomes, demonstrating that you have achieved all the course learning outcomes. In a sense, this is your final summative assessment, and you are demonstrating accomplishment of all the course learning outcomes in EDU602. So you get to live and breathe what you've been designing. So in this multimedia reflection, you're going to spend 8 to 10 minutes creating a narrated video, and you're going to address these bullets under this video reflection table, or this video reflection box. Now it's and so there are some times allocated to it, but more importantly, we want to just kind of hear your thoughts and reflections about what you learned. And if you don't meet these time limits, that's okay. All right, so the last thing about this is you can use UCU if you want to for this project, or you can actually do, if you want to do a screencast where you narrate yourself going through your online course and discussing each of these bullets as you go through your course. So you're demonstrating using your online course, you're demonstrating how these bullets, how you are able to explain your understanding of learning assessments, and how you now approach learning assessments, and how the backward design model informed your process. So if you wanted to narrate yourself talking through your online course and demonstrating how your online course represents these bullets, that's great. And there's several tools you can use, several free tools you can use, including Zoom or Screencast-O-Matic or Jing. There are lots of free online tools that you can use to capture your screen as you're narrating, as you're speaking to it. Okay, so those are some options for you, and I hope that you enjoy this process. It's kind of a fun process. One last thing I want to say about submitting your final work is when you submit your final project part 2, the easiest way to do that is to provide a link to your course, and then your instructor can go off and double check that. Make sure everything's all up to date and it contains all the work, okay? So I think that should do it, and we will see you in EDU 601. Thanks.